What's up, you guys? So today I'm doing a look that is inspired from Miley Cyrus and her Easter picture. I'll link it down below so you guys can see. But starting out, I'm just priming my face with the number 7 Airbrush Away Primer. And yeah, so yeah, as soon as I saw this picture online, I just fell in love and I knew I had to recreate it. So then next I'm using the NYX Stay Matte Not Flat foundation. I'm also mixing it with my Glow Serum and the L'Oreal Magic Lumi Primer. I mix them all together because she looks like she had really glowy skin, but like more like a natural glow, you know? And so yeah, I just mix all this together, and then I sprayed my brush with a little bit of a setting spray just to kind of dampen it, to help move the product around a little bit, and I just applied that. Pro Conceal, and I just covered up my dark circles and just anywhere else that I felt that I needed the coverage. The Stay Matte Not Flat has pretty good coverage on its own. You can really build it up to a full coverage if you wanted to just use the foundation, but I decided to use a concealer as well, and then I'm just blending it out with the same brush. To set everything, I used the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Pressed Powder and just dabbing that all over my skin to set the makeup. I chose this one because, one, of course it looks good in photos, but also the finish is very nice and natural, it's not too matte. And then I'm just doing a nice healthy spray of the Milani Make It Last setting spray. To prime my lids, I use the NYX Proof It eyelid primer. But it goes so fast. And then I just set it with my face powder as kind of like a pinky base, because it was kind of hard to see exactly like the colors in her makeup and everything because she had like a filter over top. But I used the NYX Lid Lingerie, and then I used MFEO from the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette, and I'm just buffing that through my crease. This color I'm going pretty, I'm not exactly being precise with my application on it. I just kind of want it to be like my transition shade and just be like a base to help everything blend. And then I'm taking Chip. Looks like Chip. Actually, no, that's not Chip. That is Mocha. I'm taking Mocha, and I used a really precise brush. So her eyeshadow shape had a very unique shape to it. It was kind of like it like went up higher, closer to her inner corner, and then really like drooped down in the outer corner. So I don't know if you guys can tell, that's kind of the shape I'm trying to go for. I later figured out that it was actually like easier to kind of follow the contours of your nose. But yeah, if you need like if you make any mistakes or anything, I just used my Pixie color correcting face powder, because that one's a little bit of a lighter shade, and I used that to kind of lighten and help blend, and also like if I made any mistakes as far as the shape goes, because it was kind of difficult. I just used that to kind of help me out a little bit. And then I used the Bahama Mama bronzer from The Balm, and that I would use for my nose contour, as well as I just felt like it was like a little too warm on that inner corner, and I just needed something a little cooler toned to make it more neutral, I guess. Make it a little more neutral cool. So I just went through my crease with that, and it's basically the same exact shape. If you, like I said, if you just look at the picture, you can really kind of see that shape and just kind of follow that, I suppose. And then I put the same face powder, the Pixie powder, I put that as like my inner corner lid shade, and I kind of went back and forth between like cleaning up the lid and blending in the crease. I wanted like a very defined lid shape, like almost like how a cut crease is very defined, but this isn't a cut crease whatsoever, because the crease is very blended still. And so yeah, so here you can probably see like I contour my nose, and this is the point where I figured out that like when you follow the contour of your nose and kind of then go up through the inner corner of your eye, it's actually a lot easier to get that shape rather than starting in the middle, like the inner corner of your eye first and then going down. But yeah, like I said, and so in the inner corner, it also looked like her eyeshadow came up a little more, kind of to give that illusion of a bigger eyelid space. So that's what I kind of tried to do. And then her outer corner was very, very clean. There was no shadow at all there. So I was just cleaning up the outer corner, making sure that's nice and light. And yeah. All tied up. And then I took Beam and I tried like wetting it and to see if like maybe that would help like really cut out that inner portion. I really wanted that to be nice and defined and sharp. And to be quite honest, after a little trial and error, I figured that it doesn't really matter if you wet it or not. So yeah, it's just a really long and tedious process of just going back and forth of blending and cutting out the crease, or you know, cutting out the inner corner. And yeah, so hopefully you can see like what I did and everything. And then this is the Elizabeth Mott Pop Shadow in Toasted, I believe. And it looked like she had like a little bit of like a lighter shade on the bottom. And I just wanted something a little like bronzier and shimmerier. I thought it would catch the eye a little better. But yeah, so it was a little bit of a frustrating and tedious process, and I kind of cut a lot of it out, but I tried to keep in the most important parts so you could see the shape of the eyeshadow. I'm using the Ciate Wonder Wand, and she had like a fairly straight line for her eyeliner, and it just kind of flicked out, like, it wasn't necessarily like a wing, it was more of like an extension, if that makes sense. So yeah, hopefully you can see what I'm doing, and it was a little bit out of frame for a second, but I got back in there. Like a captive, I want to, used to paint my life, standing on rainbows, playing it cool. I haven't felt this in ages, and I've no patience, so won't you please stay a bit longer? You're making me stronger, making me stronger. This look is really pretty because it has like that vintagey retro vibes, especially with the unique eye shape of it going upwards and then drooping down on the kind of like that sad puppy dog eye look. I did my lashes off camera. I used the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. And then as well as I took this Wet n Wild, I think the shade is in the Buff, it's their nude liner, and I just did that in the inner rim. It didn't look like she had any eyeliner in there, but she has really round eyes, and mine are fairly almond shaped, so I just wanted to create that nice big doe-eyed effect. So for my cheeks, I took the Bahama Mama bronzer again, and I did it mostly on the outer corner, on the outer perimeters of my face. I didn't want to drag it in too much. Honestly, her face, again, with the filter, it was really hard to tell if she had any on or not. But it was a really peachy filter. It didn't really look like she necessarily had blush, but because of like the peachy-ish filter, I chose a peachy blush from the Maybelline Master Blush palette. And then the highlight I chose was the Mary Luminizer. And then from the Naked Smoky palette, I took Whiskey, and that's what I used to fill in my brows. Her brow shape, they were very dark and very defined. They didn't have like that nice natural, you know, bushiness that a lot of brows have nowadays. They were very defined and they were very straight, so I just followed my natural eyebrow shape, and then just kind of like, I try not to define my arch too much. I try to just keep them nice and straighter. Immediately knew that I had to use Alyssa from ColourPop. It's the satin liquid lip or whatever. Yeah, I don't know, it screamed Alyssa vibes to me, so that's the lip I went with. And then for the gloss, it looked like she definitely had like a glossy lip, at least just a little bit, like mostly in the center. So I focused Fairy Floss from ColourPop right in the center of my lips to create the lip color. I really hope you guys enjoyed this look. I had a lot of fun recreating it. Like I said, I hope the eye shape or the eyeshadow shape makes sense. But yeah, if you did enjoy it, please hit that subscribe button down below, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.